And we know the Bengals offensive line is absolute trash, and that problem is going to be exposed by Minnesota's revamped defensive line. Minnesota -3, give it to me all day.
The Illuminati talking to you.
Because he's fat.
And millions of little co-pilots saying their prayers. All you gotta do is look at those numbers.
What's cracking, everybody? James Coe here with you. Let's talk about week 1 lines. Let's go. We're recording this on a Monday afternoon, so obviously the lines can change and they can move, and they probably will. But as I stand here today, here are some of my favorite calls going into week number 1. Minnesota -3 at Cincinnati. I feel extremely confident about this call, and so does the public. 70% of the bets are with Minnesota on this one, and it makes a lot of sense. As we have seen this preseason, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are shaking off some serious rust. And we know the Bengals offensive line is absolute trash, and that problem is going to be exposed by Minnesota's revamped defensive line. The team added Dalvin Tomlinson in free agency, and they get Michael Pierce back from the COVID opt-out. Remember, Michael Pierce from Baltimore did not play last season. He is an absolute elite run stuffer. Oh, by the way, they also get Danielle Hunter back from injury as well. Now, will the health be a concern? Of course it's going to be a concern. But when we saw this man play and when healthy, Danielle Hunter, we're talking about back-to-back seasons of more than 14 sacks. And defensively, my God, it's an absolutely awful matchup for Cincinnati. Kubiak run scheme is absolutely built on outside runs. The problem for Cincinnati, they were the stone cold worst run defense on outside carries last year. They gave up nearly 6 yards per carry, the worst mark in the NFL, to running backs when they ran to the outside. I think it's going to be a field day for Dalvin Cook and this offense, which means, of course, it's going to open up play action. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, they should get cooking as well. Minnesota -3, give it to me all day. And who doesn't like a little primetime action, right? So let's talk about the Chicago Bears traveling to Los Angeles and taking on the Rams in primetime. And I love the Rams -7.5. 85% of the bets going towards the Rams. I almost feel like I'm like missing something here, but when I take a look at this line, man, I love it too. I'm going with the public. 85% of the public going with the Rams. I'm going there too. I get that it's a big line. -7.5, that's a big line, man. But here's the thing. Andy Dalton, all but a lock to start in this one. I think Aaron Donald and the boys there in LA, they're going to make absolute work of the Chicago offensive line, and Andy Dalton's going to be under fire pretty much the entire game. Did I mention that this game is in prime time? Let me remind you about how bad Andy Dalton is in prime time games. 23 prime time games over his career where he has averaged just 221 passing yards, 1.3 touchdowns, 0.8 interceptions, a 59% completion rate, and a 78 passer rating. That is bad, and that's especially bad considering he's going up against an elite defense in the LA Rams. Stafford pairing up with Sean McVay, man, it's like, I don't know, it's like hot sauce and fried chicken. It just makes a lot of sense. I'm really excited, and I know a lot of folks are really excited to see what Matt Stafford can do with this Sean McVay offense. And while I like Jalen Johnson for Chicago, the guy playing opposite him is going to get absolutely hammered with targets. Now, can that guy hold up? I've got my serious doubts. And plus, who are they going to throw in at slot corner? I think Cooper Kupp is going to have free run of the place. I think he's going to go buck wild. I feel weird. I feel like there's some kind of trap built in here, like the boys in the desert know something. But I can't see it, man, so I'm going with the public on this one. LA Rams, -7.5. Lock it up. All right, let's talk about some season-long props, and we're going to start with Ben Roethlisberger. I'm saying over 27.5 passing touchdowns. To me, this is just a straight-up injury bet. Big Ben had 33 and 34 passing touchdowns in the last 2 healthy seasons he has played. And as a matter of fact, since 2013, he's had 28 or more passing touchdowns in every season where he has played at least 13 games. And again, remember, this is in a 16-game slate. He missed the mark in 2015 when he had 21 passing touchdowns in only 12 games played. And then obviously in 2019, he had 0 passing touchdowns when he blew out his elbow. Ton of pass-catching options there in Pittsburgh, whether we're talking about Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, etc., etc. That's why even with an ancient Ben Roethlisberger coming off of a blown-out elbow, this Steelers offense led the league in pass attempts in 2020. I'm expecting similar production and similar output in 2021. Again, this is just a straight up injury play. I think he's going to play at least 13 out of these 17 games, and if he does, you can pretty much lock up 28 passing touchdowns. That's something I'm willing to bet on. All right, finally, let's talk about Brandon Aiyuk, wide receiver there in San Francisco. His total receiving yards is set at 875.5, while his total receptions is set at 67.5. And from a season-long perspective, I have the utmost confidence, health withstanding, that he goes over on both. Last year as a rookie, he had 60 receptions and 748 receiving yards in 12 games played. Now, many of you in this space know about receptionperception.com. It is, in my opinion, and yes, I am a co-owner of that website, but it is, in my opinion, the finest wide receiver evaluation tool on the market. If you don't know them, go check it out, see what I'm talking about. Now, last year, as a rookie, he had a 75.7% success rate versus man coverage. That is north of the 85th percentile, again, as a rookie. Given his size, build, route tree, and success rate versus man coverage, he profiles very, very similarly to A.J. Green in his prime. We are talking about a future Alpha X receiver. So listen, I don't care if it's Jimmy G. I don't care if it's Trey Lance. We're going to see some market improvements from Brandon Aiyuk here in year number 2, and that's why I am fully expecting him to smash the overs in both spots. All right, those are 4 plays for you here in week number 1. If you want to follow me on social, by all means, Twitter or YouTube at James D. Co. We'll see you.